Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, NXT has entered the fallout after this past weekend in Heatwave. As you know, Obafemi retained the championship, but it appears now we have a brand new challenger. The NXT tag team titles had exchanged. Darkseid did exactly what they intended to do to grab the tag team titles from Hank and Tag, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And also the fallout with Jay-Z Jane, of course, losing the TNA Knockouts World title. But however, now she has to contend with her number one contender, Lola Vice, and plenty other matches as well. We will see, of course, what happens in the fallout. But first things first, now as you all know, I'm way behind on a little bit on the Yoshi wrestling scene. So I'm going to review a particular event from a promotion based out here in San Diego called Kitsune Women's Wrestling. This event took place back in June on June 8th in LA because it was a 2-day event back to back from San Diego and LA. This one's called 8888. So there's 4 8s. This one features, of course, a number one contendership for the Kitsune World title. We have, of course, Yuna Manaze, the current champion, defending the title against Tai Hamna. And this one, of course, is Tai Hamna's last appearance and possibly her only appearance, making appearance in America since she'll be retiring in October. Which I really was bummed out that I wish I would have gone to see her for the San Diego show, but I never did. So that kind of is on my fault. But I can't wait to review this one for all of you. But also, we'll cap up at our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Leaded Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Leaded Wrestle Zone. All things is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. We also, of course, do the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us, so click on that subscribe button. You'll be gaining a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or nice comments in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been said. Let's get down to business. So, as I said, we're going to be reviewing an event from this past June, Kitsune Women's Wrestling with 8888. Kitsune Women's Wrestling. Now, for those who are not familiarized with this promotion, let me give you guys a brief detail of about them. This promotion was started out about a year ago by a promoter based out here in San Diego. He's a big fan of the Yoshi wrestling scene. He even visited Japan and took various photos with many wrestlers, and amongst them is, of course, Tam Nakano. The promoter even had his own podcast called the Yoshi Pod, where he interviewed many of the wrestlers. And if I have any Unagi Sayaka fans, well, he actually interviewed her too. But also, Unagi was the first inaugural Kitsune World Champion, but she had to relinquish the belt due to the fact that she couldn't get her visa in time. And it was later, new champion was crowned, of course, was Yuna Manaze. She is now a two-time champion because of recently she lost the belt and then she gained it back. So let's get started with this particular event that happened in LA. Now remember, there was a 2-day event before this one. The first one was in San Diego, which of course I wanted to attend, but I didn't due to some other things. But this event happened in LA on the 8th of June, called 8888. So let's get started with our first match. Now, our first match, we had a 9-tail Kitsune Rumble match. So that means there's like 9 competitors involved. We even have Rosa, one dude in this involved. We even had plenty other wrestlers in it, but the person who won this match was someone named Hudson Envy. So she was the exact winner of this event, but it wouldn't be the last time we hear her name. Now, our next match, we have Brittany Brooks taking on Haruka Umasaki. If you're not familiarized with her, she is part of the Yoshi promotion Diana, or known as Women's World Wrestling Diana. So basically, she's from there. She's kind of like the ace of the promotion, that she stepped up the game ever since Sarai left, or better known as Sarai. So yeah, she is that person. But it was a pretty good match, I'm not going to lie. But it was Umasaki who picked up the win when she applied the Magistral, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match is a 3-way #1 contendership for the Kitsune World Championship. We have Milo versus Kitsune versus Viperous. Now, of course, when it comes to 3-ways, as I mentioned time and time again, we don't know how this is going to end, because of course one person will try to stop the countdown no matter what, or they'll try to eliminate one person in order to remain 2. That's always been one of the things we have seen in these type of matches. But this is a #1 contendership, which of course the prize is their opportunity of the shot of the world title, which is of course something we want. But it was in the end Viperous who was able to pin both Milo and Kitsune at the same time, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she is #1 contender. Now, our next match, we have Kid Bandit taking on the Pink Striker, Miyu Yamashita. Now, of course, this was a very interesting match. Not because, we all know, for those who know this already, Kid Bandit, as you know, had a sex change operation not too long ago. But I've always been impressed by her skills, about how she has a bit of like some type of maneuvers and agile moves, kind of like jumping off, doing spinning front kicks, trying to bounce off the deuce and kicks, that sort of thing. Those are always been one of the most impressive moves I've seen. But you're facing against someone who's well recognized, of course, in Japan, and most specifically with Tokyo Super Wrestling, known as the Pink Striker, who has a background in karate. But unfortunately, Kid Bandit did not survive until she applied the skull kick, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now, our next match is a 6-woman tag match. We have Alex Gracia, Jay Manley, and who's the other one? Oh yeah, Nina. They face off Miku Alana, Jen Saravatni, and Alice Blair. So of course, a lot of things was going to happen in this match. I mean, of course, there'll be some interesting maneuvers to ensure one team will try to stop the countdown over the other, that sort of thing. But of course, we've seen some moments where one person takes out the other, and then the other gets taken out by that, back and forth, back and forth. But in the end, it was, of course, what's her name? Sarah Jin, who was able to apply the Kamigoye onto Manley, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Our next match, we have Zyra taking on Lady Lee. Not much familiarized with these two ladies, but they really put up a hell of a fight. I'm not gonna lie. There were some moments where, of course, Lady Lee seemed like she was going to pick up the win, but in the end, she applied a gory bomb onto um, Zyra, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Our next match, we have Dark Sheik versus Nagisa Nozaki. Yeah, the very same Nagisa Nozaki, who you guys knew from Wave, now making appearances in Marigold. So yeah, so she made an appearance on this one, and it's very interesting. Of course, Dark Sheik, we all know she's a tough as nails. She's capable of taking any beating, but of course, when it comes to Nagisa Nozaki, that's when she uses the chair to make the play, and just like that, it didn't stop Dark Sheik because she can withstand it until, of course, Nozaki applied a Lince Nor onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match is the Kitsune World Championship. Yuna Manase defends her title against Tai Hamna. Now, of course, for those who know their history, Yuna Manase, many of you may or may not know this, Yuna Manase has been responsible for training many well-recognized Yoshi wrestlers. Tai Hamna is among them. However, she's not the only one who was trained by Yuna Manase. Amongst them is, of course, the current retired Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, Sayuri Anu, Maika Ozaki, Nao Kakuta, and a few others. So she trained many other wrestlers during her time when she was in At-Risk Girls, and now she's facing her former student, as you know, because this is one of those moments where, okay, this is the last time we will see Tai Hamna make an appearance in the U.S. It was like a once-in-a-lifetime. But it seems like things would have gone a Tai Hamna's favor if it wasn't for Hudson Edvey, who decided to put herself in this match. But luckily, it didn't go well until Yuna Manase pinned Tai Hamna, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she retained the championship. But of course, the event does not end there, because you know they wanted Kitsune wanted to send Tai Hamna off to ride off the sunset in her upcoming retirement that will happen in October, and she received a bouquet of flowers, thanking the fan base for supporting her. I mean, it sucks for me that I never got the chance to see her, but it's great that I get the chance to watch her only time that she'll be in the States. Hopefully we'll hear from her, but hopefully we get to watch her last match that we will see in Japan. So we'll see when we get there. So stand by for that. But as of right now, we're officially done with Kitsune Women's Wrestling. Let's move on with our last and final review, NXT. Okay, NXT. As you know, we just entered the fallout after NXT Heatwave. Well, we opened up with Ricky Saint making his appearance inside the ring, do a little promo. And of course, you know, he said that he will always have the back of Javon Evans, despite the fact that he lost, but he always believed that he had what it takes to beat, of course, Obafemi. However, of course, now that this thing has been settled, he said that now that he is aiming, of course, for Obafemi for the NXT Championship. However, someone decided, oh, hell no, bitch, you're not getting that title. And that person is Josh Briggs, who felt that he was being overshadowed by people that are outsiders, stepping up into, of course, a world that they don't belong. But of course, Ava Reigns showed up and decided to, of course, explain the situation, saying that no one's heard from Javon Evans since losing to Obafemi. So, however, a number one contendership has been set in place between Ricky Saints and Josh Briggs. So that's going to be one hell of a match. Now, Ava Reigns had a little nice discussion with Blake Monroe about, of course, her recent match. And of course, this happened on Sunday. And then, of course, Kelani Jordan said, hey, I'm going to finish off what happened 3 weeks ago, because if you guys remember, Blake Monroe actually just ran with her tail between her legs, being chased by Jordan Grace. So that match was, in fact, next. So Blake Monroe and Kelani Jordan once again duke it out for the second time, because, of course, the one thing that they're aiming for is the NXT Women's Championship. But however, Lola Vice is the one who has the reins on that. However, once again, history repeated itself when Jordan Grace showed up, and this time Blake Monroe run. But she went back into the ring in hopes that she can get away with her, not realizing once she was back in the ring, she let her guard down by, of course, getting taken out by Kalani Jordan until she applied the leg split moonsault, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now, Miles Bourne had a very interaction with Vic Joseph talking about Lexis King's antics. As you know, Lexis King has called Miles Bourne a fraud. He's a faker because he thinks that he is not deaf. He wants the world to believe, hey, he's a liar. He can hear. You know that. But of course, Miles Bourne has not been shy away. Yes, I am deaf, but he knows ways how to get around the ring, despite of his inability to hear. But however, Ava Reigns decided to, of course, apply. I don't know why I call her Ava Reigns, but this be Ava. But anyway, Ava decided to do a blindfold match. Now, one thing that was funny in the blindfold match, oh my God, Lexis King was going overboard, not punching Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne was calm, like he's like, look, where are you? And of course, the desperation with Lexis King in hopes he can get his hands on him, but it did not go in favor. But I believe that what he did, he grabbed to the referee, then he blinded him in order to take off the hood, in order to take out, of course, Miles Bourne, and that's exactly what he did. He applied the coronation. He may have won this battle, but I'm sure Miles Bourne is not going to let this slide. With Lexis King trying to humiliate him, trying to say he's a liar, he's a fraudster, he is not who he appears to be. But trust me, that could happen. Now, we did see No Quarter Catch Crew talking, Ren Sinclair and Charlie Dempsey talking about for their upcoming match against the Calling. So Charlie Dempsey called in Kendall Gray to team up with her, and that's exactly what happened, because of course Charlie recently said he was impressed by her skills, and that's exactly the next match that would happen. However, I'm sure that things would have gone perfectly well, because in a way Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray are trying to get their footing together as a team. But unfortunately, I don't know what to call with the Calling, because it seems that Izzy Dame somehow was able to take away the glory from Tatum Paxley, and she was able to pin away Ren Sinclair, and just like that is over. I don't know exactly if they're using her in order to get what they want, but we'll see. Now, our number one contendership for the NXT Championship, Ricky Saints versus Josh Briggs. Now, Josh Briggs put a very heavy pound of hurting on Saints in hopes that he gets an opportunity of the NXT Championship. That's exactly what he's been trying to do ever since he came about. But however, Ricky Saints refuses to stay down until he applied a tornado DDT, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, he decided to have a little talk with Obafemi, but unfortunately, Dark State decided to make a statement once again to say that they're in control of NXT. However, it became a 4-on-2 situation until the former tag champions, Hank and Tank, had enough, and they decided that Payback's a biatch, and then that's exactly what they were trying to do. So that's pretty interesting to hear. Now, more interesting news came around. It was later announced by Ava that, of course, the men and women's speed championships will now be part of NXT. So basically, the speed titles will be now contended. There's going to be a tournament that will be taking place, so that's going to be interesting to see. Now, So Ruka, Zaria, and Lola Vice were having a nice girl talk because they're preparing for their main event to take on the Fatal Influence. And of course, Jada Parker showed up, not to start a problem, but tried to tell her good luck until Lash Legend showed up and get in her face once again. So, you know how that's going to be. Now, our next match, we have Alba Fire versus Tyra May Steele. Now, remember, Tyra May Steele and Tavion Heights lost to, of course, Ethan Page and Chelsea Green due to interference from outside the ring to ensure things go their way. But of course, one thing was cool is that Tyra May Steele got her first taste of victory in NXT by rolling up Alba Fire, but later all hell broke loose, of course, when Chelsea Green and Piper Nivens tried to dismantle, of course, Tyra May Steele. But of course, Tavion was trying to tell that this had enough until he was attacked by Ethan Page. Ethan Page pulled out the Canadian flag to show them that Canada is the most dominant nation. Well, we'll see about that. Now, Hank and Tank went to talk to Ava about cashing in the rematch clause, and of course, Ava told them that you'll get your rematch because apparently Dark State said they want all four of you guys. Four, there's two. So basically, they realized, oh, it's Dark State versus Hank and Tank and Obafemi and Ricky Saints. So they said they'll go over it. Now, our main event, we have, of course, the Fatal Influence taking on Lola Vice, Zarya, and Soruka. Now, of course, we know that Daisy Jane has not been in a good mood since losing the TNA Knockouts World title to Ash by Elegance. But the problem I think she's more concerned is losing the NXT Women's title, because apparently there's been some cracks that began to form inside the Fatal Influence. I mean, Jasmine Nix cost the title in some way, the Knockouts title completely. But one thing that was interesting is, of course, we saw like the usual distraction tactics we've been seeing, but that did not go well because apparently there was a bit of a Daisy Jane thought she had this match, that she was the legal person, but the reality, it was Fallon Henley. It was, of course, Fallon Henley who was the legal person, but she got backfist by Lola Vice, while Soruka took out Jasmine Nix. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Lola Vice picked up the win, and now she made a statement that she is coming for the NXT Women's title. So we'll see what happened from there. So stay tuned for more. But as of right now, we're officially done with our reviews. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin, as always, with upcoming events. House of Glory has announced for the Philadelphia event on the 4th of September, there's going to be a rematch for the Crown Jewel Championship. Bully Ray will defend his title against the former champion, Zilla Fatu. If you guys remember, recently, Zilla Fatu lost the belt to Bully Ray thanks to interference by Ricochet. So let's see how things will roll from there. Canadian promotion Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling will have Sacred Ground taking place on the 5th of September, as always. They announced Ace Austin will be participating. Now remember, guys, Ace Austin is now all elite, so it is pretty cool. And it was announced that Angelico will be participating with Action Wrestling with Dean 3. That will take place on the 6th of September. GCW Evil Deeds, that will happen on the 12th of September. There's going to be a Riddle Box match. Alec Price and Jordan Oliver will be taking on the Brothers of Construction, the Clowns, in case anybody asks. Deadlock Pro Wrestling, or DPW, with the Carolina Classic on the 14th of September. They'll have the semifinals of the best, the Battle of the Best, Danny Luna versus you. Then we have the Kaoru Ito debut 36th anniversary show. It was announced that Chi-Chi will be teaming up with Miku Kane. As you all know, those two have been teaming up recently. They face against Aya Sakura and Rian. Now, if you guys remember, interesting history, Aya Sakura defeated Chi-Chi for the Sendai Girls Junior World title. So it's interesting that they'll be facing off each other. And then finally, Wrestling Revolver will be doing a collaboration with another promotion called Arrival. It's going to take place on the 21st of November in Newark, New Jersey. Now, Arrival did have a different name at the time called Violence and Suffering, but now they changed it to Arrival Wrestling, so that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to hear it. Now, let's move on to some developments. Recently, WWE ID that was reported by PW Insider. Apparently, WWE ID, in fact, has announced the release of several talents. Jordan Oasis, Ice Williams, and Aaron Roberts. Now, it's still unclear why. I mean, we haven't seen Ice Williams that much in Evolve when it first launched. Jordan Oasis, I don't know why. Aaron Roberts, I don't know either. Now, an interesting, surprising news. It was announced that Maki Itoh is officially no longer with Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling. It was later reported that her contract with the promotion expired on August 23rd. And that was, of course, an event in Korakuen Hall that happened. According to what sources are saying, there was discussions that there will be no renewal of her contract. It's still unclear what's going to be, but it is been confirmed she is now a freelancer. However, it's still unclear. Some people I know who I talked to said they are hoping that maybe she'll go to AEW. I know AEW are familiarized with her. I'm not sure if that's the case, but we'll see where she goes. We know she's been making appearances in GCW a lot and other promotions, but we'll see what happens. Now, AEW has announced for a new coach and slash agent named Nathan Cruz, who is a UK independent wrestler. I don't know who he is. I don't know if anybody knows who he is, but if you do, please leave a comment down below. An interesting thing happened in social media. Natsupoi, apparently she gave a little tease to her fan base. Now, for those who don't know, Natsupoi was not a natural born blonde. Basically, she dyed her hair blonde like some point in 2022 or 2023, and she had darker hair. So now she teased the return of her dark hair. It's still unclear why she would do that, but yes, that's exactly what I'm hearing. So we'll see how that goes. New Japan has announced that Francesco Akira has suffered a right wrist fracture during a Rev Pro event. This happened around the same time when, of course, AEW and New Japan collaborated, and there was a Rev Pro event a day before, of course, the Forbidden Door, so it might have happened there. I may see that, but we'll see. And then finally, Orange Cassidy, as you know, we haven't seen him for quite some time. Apparently, it's now been reported that he is cleared to return to action, but awaiting for the creative for him to return on AEW TV. So it's still unclear when it will happen, but I can't wait to see it. So stay tuned for that for more. So as of right now, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have WWE Evolve and AEW Dynamite. As you know, with the Evolve, we're going to be seeing more things going around. As you know, Keanu Carver probably will want to make more noise, to send a message to Jackson Drake for the Evolve Championship. And as for AEW Dynamite, as you probably know, we are entering the fallout after, of course, the Forbidden Door. So obvious questions now remain. We now have, of course, a brand new tag team champion. Our AEW World Champion retained the championship. So is our women's champion, the TBS title, TNT. So the obvious question we ask from there, where do we go from, what's next from here? So that is something we will see on Dynamite. Now, if there's any other reviews, I'll let you guys know as soon as possible. But for now, we'll leave things as it is and move forward. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.
Are you ready?